Hello everyone, this is Phil, and today I just finished watching both Microsoft and Sony, which is kind of weird because I was supposed to be working today during Sony's conference, but I got sick with this awful, severe stomach cramp, and I don't know what it is. I'm hoping I don't have some stomach bug, because I hate being off of work, and it really sucks ass, but that's just the way it goes. But yeah, I'm going to talk about Microsoft and Sony's E3 conference thing that just happened, and I'm just kind of throwing things out at the top of my head since I don't have like a list in front of me like some people do out there who work professionally with all this mumbo jumbo about E3. So we're going to talk about E3. So first we're going to talk about, now before I talk about Sony and Microsoft, I like to point out that Nintendo World Championship 2015, that was one of the best stream video game competition things ever in existence. Just throwing it out right there. It was super awesome. I highly recommend going to Nintendo's channel and fucking watch that whole 4.5 hour shit. That shit was awesome. I don't care what you say, but it's so cool seeing an actual Nintendo World Championship actually happening at this time of age. So I'm gonna leave. So there's gonna be a link on the description about that. So anyway, on to Microsoft. So Microsoft, Microsoft Halo 5. Everything was kind of expected about Halo 5. You know, oh, 2 different teams. It's Spartan, you know, Master Chief, and you have Locke, Agent Locke, or whatever his name is, and stuff. But yeah, they showcased like the little gameplay footage. You know, they're fighting against Prometheans. It looks like they're on the Elite's home planet from the looks of it. I mean, I can't really tell. They didn't really tell exactly what location they were on. You know, since it was just a little tease of what you might expect in the campaign. Since you're going to be playing as multiple different characters on 2 different fire teams with 4-player drop-in, drop-out co-op, which sounds pretty cool. But one of the coolest things I like what they revealed was the Warzone game mode that has 24 players, which sounds to me like a spiritual successor to Halo Reach Invasion Mode, even though Invasion Mode is technically a big team, 3-round big team battle type of thing with objectives, attack and defend objectives or whatever. But to me, that's what Warzone kind of remind me of. It looks super cool. I mean, there's a few other. And the biggest bombshell that Microsoft dropped. And this really took me by surprise because I wasn't really expecting this sort of thing to happen, but it did. Xbox One's gonna have Xbox 360 backwards compatibility, which is cool because my Xbox 360 just died like a month or so back, which really sucks for me. Which is cool because I was planning to get rid of like at least half of my library, and now I don't find a reason why I should get rid of half of my library. I am going to get rid of my old Xbox 360, but I'm still keeping my old hard drive because I have so much save data and stuff, including certain digital games that are you can no longer be able to buy, like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 or Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, which I managed to buy those 2 games at the last few days before they took them down, since, you know, Disney now has the Marvel rights and Capcom lost their time licensing rights to use Marvel characters in their games and whatnot. And of course there's a Dark Souls 1 save I still have against those 2 fucking bosses I can't fucking beat because it's Dark Souls. And speaking of Dark Souls 3. That's all I can say. I don't know how they were able to decide to go, hey, we're going to make Dark Souls 3 while we're developing Bloodborne. And I'm like, wait, how did they do that? Like, right now, it's just a little CGI trailer, you know. From the looks of the trailer, this game looks like it takes place. This has more relations with the first game. Dark Souls 2 is confusing chronologically wise because they never explained whether Dark Souls 2 was a sequel or a prequel, but Dark Souls 3 is definitely a sequel because they mention the little tidbits about, you know, the fire going out and all this stuff, so it makes it sound like it's a sequel, a direct sequel to Dark Souls 1, like the aftermath of Dark Souls 1 and stuff. But and then Rare makes an announcement of might be one of the most coolest gaming collection game things ever in existence, rare replay. And with let me tell you one thing. I've played a lot of rare games back in my childhood. We're talking this includes some NES games like Wizards and Warriors, Iron Sword Wizards and Warriors 2, Battletoads, Solar Jetman, which is a very obscure game I remember renting from a local library because I had a library that had NES games, and that one game with the snake that you collect balls. I completely forgot the name of the game, but I do remember playing that game. And then there's other later games like N64 games. Perfect Dark. That's what I was just fixing to say. And Battletoads Arcade. Holy shit, 30 games for $30. All their games, even the games that including games that no one didn't care for, like the recent Banjo-Kazooie game, which with cars, if that makes any fucking sense. No one doesn't give a shit about the game. Everyone's just gonna bother playing Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. No one's not gonna give a shit for nuts and bolts. Everyone's just gonna play that. I'm mainly gonna, holy shit. Yeah. I might end up getting an Xbox One. Let's just put it that way before I start stuttering like a complete idiot. Because everything was super cool on Microsoft Sony. There's a couple other few things, but I didn't really care much for those. Unless I forgot them on the top of my head because, I haven't wrote any of this down. Shit. What? Oh, Gears of War. Yes, Gears of War 4 has been announced. Now, some people may know I have some Gears of War. I have a handful of Gears of War videos on my YouTube channel, and I happen to like Gears of War also, thanks to a few people on Xbox who goes, "Hey Phil, try this game called Gears of War 2," and I'm like, okay, bought it for a sale on $5, and pretty much fell in love with the awkwardly third-person shooters, since third-person shooters aren't usually my thing, but. Well, with the exception of Battlefront, but that's a whole different story. But yeah, the Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which includes the PC exclusive campaign section, which was never released on console, which I think is really cool because I have the PC version, and I tell you one thing, those campaign sections are actually pretty cool. They're probably going to balance it better to, since they were pretty easy difficulty-wise, but the Broom Mob boss battle was pretty cool. And not to mention there's a multiplayer beta going on right now, which is also pretty cool, but unfortunately I don't have an Xbox One, so I'm definitely going to miss out on that. But yeah, Microsoft made some pretty good announcements. It was a lot better than last year. Even though I don't really remember what happened last year, but I can always check out my last year's video. Yeah. So now back to Sony. Oh, and one more thing. We're gonna switch to EA thing just because there's one game from EA that I only care about. So 5-minute gameplay of Battlefront. Or Battlefront 3, as I'm still going to call it, because to me, it's still Battlefront 3, even though they said, no, it's a reboot. And I'm like, no, it's Battlefront 3. I don't like games that has the same name in the previous game. It's like Need for Speed. It's like the second Need for Speed Most Wanted. It's called Need for Speed Most Wanted. You should not call it the same name. id Software also pissed me off about that. Which, by the way, Doom, man, Doom 4 looks super fucking cool. I'm a big, huge Doom fan. And everything, almost everything I like about it. Maybe the only thing I don't like about the Doom, the only thing I didn't like about the Doom gameplay was the brutal Doom style. They literally ripped off brutal Doom mod, which is funny as hell. But I was never a fan of brutal Doom because I'm more of a classic Doom kind of guy. I don't usually go beyond the boom compatibility of like maps and stuff. I do occasionally play Z-Doom and Skulltag. Or Sandronome, as known as, every now and then, but I was more of an old school Doomer kind of guy. But anyway, back to Battlefront. Yes, Star Wars Battlefront gameplay, or Star Wars Battlefront 3 gameplay. Whoa. Just whoa. And they picked the perfect way to showcase it on my all-time favorite, Star Wars battle, or the battle on Hoth. And everything they show is super cool. Now, it's funny. It's kind of, the weird thing about it, it does kind of look like a Battlefield game. but it's Battlefield and Battlefront mixed together without the aim down sights thing. And I'm really glad they eliminated aiming down sights, because that's not really needed. So shooting from the hip is a thing in this game. It's going to be old school, and I love that. I love the fact that DICE is really going to do that. It's going to somewhat feel like a modern game, but an old school game at the same time. Because, I mean, dude, those fucking walkers, man. Dude, those snow speeders and the fucking X-Wings and TIE Fighter battles. Woo! And whoa, man. It's just, what the fuck? It's like... my brain just went all woo. and yeah, that was super cool, man. I'm super excited for that game. So now we're gonna talk about Sony. So there's a few things I like to mention about Sony. So the first thing I'm gonna mention is obviously the Destiny Taken King trailer reveal, which is gonna be about Oryx. Now, those who ever played the actual game, Oryx was mentioned way back in the base game on one of the side missions, one of the optional story missions that you don't need to do to progress with the story missions. And it was called the Shrine of Oryx. And there was a shrine where all the Hive worship Oryx, who was apparently the god of all Hive. Like they literally worship Oryx as a god. And there's a reason why, judging from this trailer. And then when the Dark Below came out, you get to fight against Crota, which is the son of Oryx. He is basically the Hive that's in charge of the entire moon. That's where all the Hive is, and some of the Hive have invaded the Earth and stuff. And I've killed Oryx with some buddies of mine at least 2 or 3 times. Even through at least 2 of those, at least were cheesing, which is a very bad thing for me to do, but I did it anyway just so I can just because it was the only way for me to get like the raid weapons before the primary raid weapons came out on hard mode. And so the Taken King is going to be about Oryx, and there's going to be taken enemies, which basically he possesses Cabal and other enemies into his Dark Soldiers. And there's new subclasses, which cannot wait to act like Darth, Emperor Palpatine with lightning hands on my Warlock. That's super cool, man. Unlimited power. But yeah, I'm super excited. Of course, they're gonna show more stuff, and by the time I upload this, Bungie probably already show a lot more than what I'm gonna talk about. But yeah. What else? The Last Guardian. Holy shit. I remember hearing about this game many years ago. It was something that was supposed to be a spiritual successor to Shadow of the Colossus, which is also a spiritual successor to PlayStation 2 launch title, which name I forgot, but I hear it's a pretty good game. And I played Shadow of the Colossus. I actually played it on the PlayStation Now service. Very briefly, I've killed the first 2 Colossus. It's actually a pretty cool game. One of these days, I'm going to play it. One of these days, I'm going to rent that game again and actually try to go through the entire game, because that is a cool game so far. And luckily, they have a cloud save of my PS3 save data on their PlayStation Now cloud thingamajiggy, so I'll be able to resume my playthrough of that game, which is awesome. But yeah, The Last Guardian. Wow, I mean, you're this little boy, and there's this griffin dog creature thing, and you go through platforms and stuff. It looks ingenious, and it's so beautiful. And I remember people telling me, "Oh, The Last Guardian, that game's never going to happen," because they've been quiet about it for a while. And it's because the funny thing is, that game was originally supposed to come out for the PS3, but I guess there were some problems with development, and I guess they decided, "Hey, we're going to make this for the PS4," and that's apparently what happened. And it's coming out next year, which is even more awesome. So, hey, super awesome. But now we're going to talk about something. Uncharted 4. Yeah, Uncharted 4. I don't know what's going on with the demonstration of Uncharted 4, but it was kind of silly. the way they started it, and I guess the guy kind of forgot to control the character, so they had to restart the demonstration, and then they show a level where they're shooting people. It looked, and now I've only played the one on the PlayStation Vita. It looked pretty cool. You know, all the shit happening, fruit stands flying all over the place and stuff, and then they go into a car, and then they go downhill through the city, which I don't know what country it is because, you know, I'm an idiot and stuff, because then again, who knows what that country is. Maybe it's South American, I don't know. But they're going downhill, and it's kind of cool how there's a car chasing going on, and it's like, you know, because Uncharted it's like one of those games it's like Tomb Raider with third person stuff, shooter stuff, and you know it's its own thing. You know, it's kind of hard to compare Uncharted. It's like trying to compare Gears of War to Uncharted, but Uncharted is like a little different than Gears of War, despite both games having a cover system and stuff. But yeah. And now, here I'm gonna talk about one more thing. This is gonna be the one last thing I'm gonna talk about on the highlight before I end this video. The one thing I was not going to expect. I wasn't expecting Square Enix to even announce this. Not even that. It never occurred to my mind in this head of mine as I'm beating my fist on my head that there is going to be, just hear the sound effect beating in my head, Final Fantasy VII Remake. I flipped my shit so bad I fell off my chair and threw the blanket covering myself because I was freezing my ass off because, you know, I'm sick, you know, stomach pain. And I screamed like a little boy, and I'm dead serious. I screamed like a little boy. Never I would ever think this would ever happen. I thought they announcing an actual remake of Final Fantasy VII would ever be a thing. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? After that stupid shit going, hey, we're gonna release Final Fantasy VII, the version that's from Steam to PS4, and I was like, oh, that's okay, I guess. And a lot of people are angry about that, and I was like, well, I don't mind buying it on PS4 and playing it again, you know, just for shit and giggles. But now all of a sudden, Square Enix is like, hey, we're actually remaking the game, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? After that crazy fucking shit you pulled off back in Gamescom or whatever happened, like back in November or some shit, or whenever that happened late last year. I mean, what? A remake of Final Fantasy VII? Are you kidding me? Oh man, it's like feels like I'm about to have a heart attack. Actually, my chest does hurt. But anyway, besides my health problems, which I don't have health problems, but yeah, stuff. But anyway, yeah. Yeah. It's crazy, man. I don't know, but Final Fantasy VII. Let the hype begin.